and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be speaking about something that I experienced a little bit between last week and this week, and I'll explain to you what I mean that I experienced it and why it took me so long to get to this stage in my life, and you guys will understand what I'm talking about. Now let's get into the video. So in the past 2 years, I think 2016, because I used to go to a church called Church of the Highlands. They used to do a fasting in the beginning of the year. When the year starts, we start with a fasting for the year. I've not done that fasting since 2016. So I mean, because I've not really felt connected with God, so I've not really done fasting since that period, that January of 2016. I didn't do it 2017, I didn't do it 2018, so 2 years. I didn't also do it this year too as well. So last week I was just trusting God in this phase. I was like, okay, I'm going to fast just one day out of the week, which I started last week. So I picked just a random day to fast, and within that 1 week, just that one day that I did the fasting, the things God just started setting in motion for me. They were not set things. They were not set like, they were not big. They were not like a huge deal or anything like that, but they were confirmation for me to let me know that God is working. And I want to talk about the power of praying, fasting, and worship. One thing I've always known about worship is so intimate with God. And when I'm fasting, I don't necessarily like pray. What I do is I listen to worship music, because that's the way I feel like I connect with God more, is through worship. Because worship is so intimate, it's so, I don't want to use this word, but that's how I feel like it's so sensual, because you're so vulnerable with God. That's the way I can explain it, because it's like you're bearing your soul out to God when you're in a worship state, because this is what you're doing. You're literally lifting both your hands to God, telling Him you surrender. There's something, again, I'm going to use this word, there's something sexy about that to me, just telling you surrendering to God. And I feel like this is the part of worship most preachers don't explain to us as believers. It's like worship worship is love. Like the way you feel when you, well, at least the way I feel when I worship, I just feel so at peace. I feel so in love. Like I just feel like, it's just so intimate to me that I feel like we don't explain worship enough to us, to the level where we would get it as millennials or whatever you may call it. Like worship is so intimate. Like that's one thing I love. Like my favorite part of anything, obviously you enjoy praise, because praise will make you dance, but worship is another level to it. Also fasting too as well. Like the power of just praying, fasting, and worship, it's so powerful. And I feel like we as Christians or as believers, we tend to forget about those areas of being a believer, being a Christian. And it's like we forget that part. We just gravitate towards us wanting things from God. That's what we gravitate towards. We gravitate towards stuff like that. And it's not fair to God, because we want something from God and we're not giving it back to Him. And I feel the best way possible we can reference God is through our worship, is through our praise. Well, for me, most especially, the way I feel like I communicate with God is through worship. I don't literally hear the voice of God saying, "Hey, Toby, do this." I don't hear that. The way I feel like I get confirmation from God or revelation from God is through worship. And when I'm worshiping, it's not necessarily a voice. I hear confirmation. I hear things being affirmed to me that I'm saying, okay, this is, or I see things in my surrounding that just affirms things in my life that set things in motion. If any of you guys out there are believers, if any of you out there are Christians, I really suggest you tap into the anointing of prayer, fasting, and worship all together at the same time. Again, you can take a gradual step to it. It's not something you have to like do right. It's not all three you might get to do right away. You start from somewhere. With me, when I started the fasting thing, I started off with just me doing it, just praying and worshiping. That's all I did. I did not do anything else other than I just prayed and worshiped. I mean, on a normal, I would do worship and all that stuff, but just for me to I just did worship and just praying, and that's all I did. And I did it for just a short period of time. I did it from like when I woke up in the morning to set boundaries for yourself, and then once you know you've set that boundaries, then start pushing your limit. That's what I started to do. I mean, I know that I can fast for a whole day and everything is okay, but just push your limit with stuff like that, or know what your limits are right now, and then push it a little bit further, if that makes sense. I know I just rambled a lot, but I just want to tell you how much prayer, fasting, and worship works, because God has, in just these 2 weeks that I started doing, the way God has shown himself to me, and I sent confirmation my way and revelation my way, is I've never felt that before. Before I thought I felt it, because I don't know what God's voice sounds like. But now I know that the way me and God communicate is through worship. That's the way I know that. That's the way I get confirmation. You also have to learn how. I was watching today when I was in church. It said your faith is 50-50. You really don't know. You're testing the waters with faith, because in the Bible it says faith without work is useless. So you 50% faith, 50% work. It has to come together. You cannot just say faith only. Faith only is not going to get you the results, but faith and works together makes things work together. So the faith part is you believing that God will do it, and then the works part is you fasting, is you praying, is you doing things, putting things in motion to make sure that all things work. All of these things that you said before you work out for you. So I say all that to say, just if you're a Christian and you're trying to push your faith forward, try praying, fasting, and worship. Me personally, I would say start with worship first, and then go into fasting and all that stuff. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.